In this video, let us talk about another form of pollution, or rather you can just say a kind of waste called as solid waste. So we'll see what is solid waste and what are the different methods that we have in hand to dispose of that particular solid waste, right? So whenever we say solid waste, that means whatever the discarded material that is in the solid form, right? उसको हमने simply नाम दे दिया solid waste, right? So you could have like solid waste originating from different areas. Most common जो आप देखते हो that is coming out from like your residential areas, जिसको हम कई बार municipal solid waste भी बोल देते हैं. So a lot of items that come from the household activities, which we normally what we do is it is like collected and most of the time as you may have seen, वो ज्यादातर waste कहाँ करते हैं हम open में कहीं somewhere it is like dumped or simply चाहे it is like municipality like that garbage truck है वो उसको लेके जाए, but most of the time that waste which is carried out in the solid form mostly it is discharged in the open. And once it is discharged in the open, then you can just think of all the associated problem that you can have in that surrounding area. उस surrounding areas के लिए भी वो litter है, all that litter maybe like when it is lying over there, when it will decompose, then it will release a lot of gases and so obviously the surrounding environment है that will also get affected. At the same time जो आपके solid pollutants होंगे ये they may be dispersed away in the surrounding area और soil को वो pollute कर सकते हैं either through the action of like you are having bin or maybe through other activities of like animals etc. At the same time we have also discussed अगर मान लिया if you are having this solid waste, if it rains then obviously क्या होगा, water will get mixed up with this all those solid waste material और जो like polluted water तैयार हुआ after like having mixed up with it उसको हम leachate बोल देते हैं, right? So वो leachate क्या होगा, that will again create a problem because you could have many like harmful substances in this particular solid waste. So when that particular leachate or water जो polluted water है now it can either go like it can pollute your underground water or maybe surface water also if there is any nearby water body. At the same time वही water अगर somewhere it gets spilled away in the nearby soil, then obviously you can just say जो आपकी soil है उसको pollute कर सकता है and indirectly we have seen the effect of in terms of like pollution that you have like soil pollution and उसके related effects हमें देखे हैं. So the same thing has been mentioned over here, just have a look. Solid waste is unwanted useless जो आपने discard कर दिया solid material generated from human activities, it could be residential, it could be like industrial or commercial area, it can originate from any one of these areas. And most commonly जो आपका municipal solid waste है household या आपका जो उस municipal area है या आपका city area है that is collected is not collected at all. बहुत सारा तो waste collect हो भी जा रहा है but उसमें कुछ portion जो है that is not at all collected and hence it lies littered in the city town. पहली बात तो है उस पूरे एरिया में जहां जहां आपका कलेक्ट नहीं हुआ तो ऑब्वियसली वहां गंदगी फैलाएगा. एट द सेम टाइम it finds its way to the nearby drains and water bodies, उनको pollute करेगा. choking as well as this, choking का मतलब वो solid waste है, हो सकता है आपका जो drain pipe है उसको choke कर दे, right? So that way, so that uncollected waste जो है वो क्या होगा, that waste in itself is going to create so many troubles that in the surrounding areas that you are much aware. And unsegregated waste collection and transportation lead to unsegregated का मतलब हुआ कि आपने segregate नहीं किया है. For example, if you are having plastic को आपने segregate नहीं किया, you are having like organic matter. So household से भी अगर हम बात करें, you are going to have a different kind of, you are having organic matter जो है आपका जो घर से खाना है, waste खाना है, वो आपने you just you are that is coming in your like municipal waste. Then household items, different articles they are coming. So you have not separated them, you have not segregated them, all of them are there combined together. It is collected and transportation lead to dumping in open जो मैं आपको explain कर रहा था, which generate leachate. Leachate आपको term पता होना चाहिए. Leachate simply मतलब हुआ कि आपका leachate is the name given to the liquid which gets produced when let us say जब उस particular let us say you are having a waste, उस waste के ऊपर जो है rainfall अगर करता है पानी, अगर water you just drop water on that particular waste, then whatever the liquid that forms which is a polluted water उसको हमने नाम दे दिया है leachate. And gaseous emissions beside causing nuisance in the surrounding environment obviously. तो जब open में आप क्या करोगे, dump करोगे, so all kind of problem that you can have in the form of like air pollution, like nuisance जो आपका जो है वो बहुत ही जो nuisance जो आपकी create होगी because of that here, and also because of all those other things if they are spread around. Leachates contaminate the groundwater as well as surface water in the vicinity, and gaseous emissions contribute to the global warming. Now see, ये पानी की हमने बात कर दी. जो leachates क्या करेंगे? They may contaminate your like underground water also, surface water also. It could be lake, it could be like a river, etc. And also emission contributes to a global warming. Emissions का मतलब ये होगा, for example, you are having a solid waste in the form of like that organic matter. घर से जो आपका whatever, चाहे ये plant waste है या other waste. So when it will decompose, right? आपने heap create कर दिया उस solid waste का. So when it will decompose, it will generate many gases. For example, carbon dioxide, methane जो है एक अपने आप में significant gas है जो कि generate होती है जो waste heap है उनमें से. So methane, as you know, is a greenhouse gas, right? So that way it can also lead to the global warming. So ये general description थी जो most of you are aware about this, the situation that we see on daily basis. And when we say talk about in terms of like classification, अगर हम classify करना चाहें उस particular solid waste को broadly, तो हमने तीन categories में we have divided into three categories. One is called as municipal solid waste, the other one is the industrial solid waste, and third one is the biomedical or hospital waste. Basically, depending upon the source of generation, कहां से वो generate हो रहा है this particular waste, you have broadly classified all those solid waste into these three categories. Municipal solid waste हमने already बात की. Whatever the total waste जो आपके area से collect हो रहा है, not only household, municipal solid waste और भी बहुत सारी street से collect हो रहा है, maybe debris है या maybe construction site से आपका collect हो रहा है. So in that particular municipal area, from where whatever the waste that is getting collected in the solid form, that is in itself is a municipal solid waste. So it consists of household waste, construction and demolition debris. Debris मतलब जो the parts which are left out after the dismantling of a particular building or construction activity के दौरान. Sanitation residue. Sanitation मतलब after like cleaning out a particular space, आपने किसी जगह को clean out किया and whatever the leftover is there, वो क्या हो गया? उसको हम residue बोल देते हैं. And waste from streets generated mainly from the residential and commercial complexes. So all those areas from where that waste is generated, whatever that form is, in solid form अगर वो exist कर रहा है, so you in your like municipal area you could have like residential areas हो सकते हैं, and you could have like commercial complexes like you're having buildings, offices and all those. So that we call it as a commercial complexes. So उसको हमने classify कर दिया as a municipal solid waste. Then another form of waste is called as industrial solid waste. As the name suggests, whatever the waste that is coming out solid form में जो भी waste आप कर रहा है that is coming from the industrial sites or industrial buildings or plants, उसको हमने classify कर दिया. We have classified it as a industrial solid waste. So when we say so obviously you can just think of there could be so many items that can be discarded from the industrial sites, and therefore they could be many, they may be containing many harmful substances, and once it is released into the atmosphere then it can cause air pollution, environmental pollution. That means you could have even water pollution also, and that also depending upon how you are just discarding that particular waste, right? In majority of cases it is termed as hazardous waste. अगर हम इसको अगर simply if we say hazardous waste, so it means that we are simply talking about the industrial solid waste, because it could be having many kind of items which are hazardous in nature and can cause a lot of health and other related problems. They may contain toxic substances, corrosive हो सकते हैं, highly inflammable हो सकते हैं, and react when exposed to the like जैसे अगर आपको बहुत सारे substances ऐसे भी हो सकते हैं जो क्या it can react with the air and therefore it can lead to a other kind of substances which are highly toxic. That is meaning of it. And the third classification that is based upon the like हमने कहा जैसे कहां से originate हुआ, biomedical waste or hospital waste. So आपके hospital से you can just think of there are so many things like which can be disposed of, particularly which have been used for diagnosis purpose or maybe for treatment purpose also. And उससे related जो भी आपकी चीजें हैं वो they are finally you have to dispose them off. Like तो उनको हमने classify किया as a biomedical or hospital waste. It could be like sharp मतलब like you're having like those blades and all those. Solid waste like disposables हो गए, anatomical cultures discarded, right, medicines, all those waste you can just think of जो भी possible है, they all are the part of this particular hospital waste. And these can be serious threat to human health if not managed scientific and in a proper way. So as you can just think of, there could be so many infectious हो सकता है. सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि जो hospital waste है, that is infectious waste. So अगर आपने properly dispose of नहीं किया, तो it can spread the infection to the surrounding area where you are disposing it off, right? So this is how you can just say. So ये एक broad classification है of the different types of waste that we can just have. Solid waste की जब हम बात करते हैं. Now let us see what could be the disposal method, और जो हम already dispose of कर रहे हैं, like जो common methods we will also discuss at the same time. What are the new methods or what are the different like new technologies का कैसे use करके हम उसको dispose of करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, that we can just think of. Like we will discuss like 5 or 6 methods we are having at present. One is the open dump, जो most commonly हम जो है वो क्या कर रहे हैं, that the practice that is being adopted. अगर हाउस होल्ड में बात करें हम, वो तो हम एक्टिविटी करते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर इफ दैट वेस्ट इज नॉट कलेक्टेड फ्रॉम आवर हाउसेस, देन ऑब्वियसली व्हाट आर द वेस्ट दैट वी आर हैविंग, वी आर समवेयर, वी विल wherever we are going to find the like open land, we are going to throw it that way. Or also when municipality also collects that particular garbage and all that, they are also, the difference being that municipality collect कर रही है, तो they are having a like demarcated area where they are going to dispose that particular waste, right? वहां पर उसको dump करेगी, simply जो है throw करेगी. So all those associated problem, I think when I started just this topic, so that time I also discussed with you. So water के कारण जो दिक्कत हो सकती है, जो लीचेट वगैरह डेवलप होंगे, if it is spread out because of like animals action or maybe birds, or because of like wind action, if it spreads out in that area, then also it is going to create a trouble. And also gases that will be released and all that we have already discussed. So that is all that we mentioned over here. Refers to uncovered. Open dump mean आपने uncovered जो है, used to dump the solid waste of all kinds. The waste is untreated, आपने treat नहीं किया है, uncovered है, segregated नहीं है, non segregated है, आपने उसको separate नहीं किया. You are having plastic bags, you are having other solid materials and all that. Organic waste जो आपका household का, that is also over there. So breeding ground for flies, rats, mosquitoes and all that you know, and they are going to create like a lot of diseases in the surrounding area. Rainwater runoff from these dumps contaminate the nearby land and water bodies, जो हमने बात कर ली already. This method is not environmental friendly, obviously. That is why the problem is. So this has to be phased out, but it needs to, we need to make the people aware, and also from the government side also we need to make like proper policies, proper demarcated area बनाने पड़ेंगे, proper collection कैसे करनी है उस waste की, that has also to be looked into, right? So ये अपने आप में आज की डेट में challenge है कि most of the waste that is getting generated, particularly in the developing countries, that is thrown in the open dumps, and that is creating a lot of troubles to all those areas which are surrounding that particular area. Another method that is followed for the disposal of this solid waste is called as landfills, right? Landfills में क्या करते हैं, simply we collect the solid waste, और हमने किया, वी हैव डिमार्केटेड एन एरिया, दैट इज म्युनिसिपैलिटी से, अगर आपका म्युनिसिपैलिटी अगर वो क्या करते हैं, कलेक्ट करते हैं उसको, सो दे हैव डिमार्केटेड सम एरिया अवे फ्रॉम दैट पर्टिकुलर सिटी, राइट? और उस एरिया में दे हैव एक क्या कहते हैं, दे हैव लाइक पिट क्रिएट की है बाय डिगिंग ए लाइक दिस लैंड, उन्होंने एक पिट क्रिएट किया, गड्ढा क्रिएट किया, दैट मींस, एंड डेली बेसिस पे व्हाटएवर द वेस्ट दैट कम्स, दे विल थ्रो इट ओवर देयर एंड देन दे विल कॉम्पैक्ट इट by making use of the machines, like you are having compactor and bulldozer kind of thing. तो आप क्या करते हो, उसको whatever the total waste that you are bringing, उस solid waste को क्या करोगे, compact करोगे, crush करोगे. Compacting, after compacting, what you will do, you will spread after that, once you have like collected all that waste in that particular day, then after compacting you will spread a layer of another over that particular waste. Like compacted layer के ऊपर क्या करोगे, अब आप एक layer या तो soil की या similar kind of material की आप क्या करोगे, उसके spread out कर दोगे. So उसका benefit ये होगा आपका, one is a space जो आपका whatever the space that is going to consume, वो कम हो जाए, because once now you have compacted that, right? The other is, since you have now covered it with like soil or similar kind of material, so now जो flies हो गए, rats हो गए, and other जो animals का जो action होना था उसके ऊपर, या breeding of mosquitoes and flies जो होनी थी, that will be suppressed, right? So वो easily होगी नहीं, right? So that is a benefit just you can think of in case of. But जो एक impact रहेगा उसका, that is in the form of like, if it rains, then obviously अगर आपने soil की layer उसके ऊपर जो, if you have like spread a soil layer, तो obviously water can go inside it. So if water goes inside it, then obviously it will प्रोड्यूस लीचेट एंड लीचिंग के थ्रू जो है धीरे धीरे जो है वो क्या करेगा, इट कैन कंटेमिनेट योर लाइक अंडरग्राउंड वाटर. A pictorial view है here, if you can just have a look over here. Say just ये बताने के लिए, for example, in a particular day, let us say if you brought that particular waste, now you have compacted it. When you compacted it, you created a layer. इसके ऊपर आपने एक layer create कर दी. Same way, then another day you brought this waste, you compacted it, then एक और layer create की. That way आपने पूरा पूरा waste क्या किया, ये dump किया और layer के through. For example, this day you have brought this waste and आपने जो है इस layer के through क्या किया इसको, you have covered it. So it means कि जो flies and all that, they cannot like act on that particular waste, and therefore the surrounding environment that will remain safe. But if it rains any time, so obviously you can just think of water जो आपका जो इसके साथ mix up होगा, and then finally leachates will be created, and therefore it may आपके जो underground water अगर है तो उसको क्या कर सकता है, it can pollute that water. So landfills are generated located in urban areas mostly, जहां पर आपका बहुत सारा जो है waste is getting generated. A pit, गड्ढा is dug in the ground, आप एक गड्ढा बनाओगे, the garbage is dumped in that pit and generally compacted, generally most of the time it is compacted and covered with the soil, other type of material such as wood chips or fine particles every day, thus preventing the breeding of flies and rats and mosquitoes also. Thus everyday garbage is dumped and sealed. तो dump किया आपने इस मेथड में और क्या कर दिया आपने, सील कर दिया, राइट. After the landfill is full, the area is covered. अब उसके बाद जो अगर आपका वो पूरा एरिया, if let it is now filled completely, then उसके बाद आप क्या कर सकते हो, उसमें मड डाल के उसको एक पार्किंग स्पेस भी बना सकते हो, समथिंग अदर एक्टिविटीज के लिए आप क्या कर सकते हो, you can just develop that, right. After the landfill is full, the area is covered with a thick layer of mud and the site can be thereafter developed as a parking lot or as a park. Problem again remains same. कौन सी जो प्रॉब्लम रहेगी, पानी वाली. दैट ऑल टाइप्स ऑफ वेस्ट आर डंप्ड इन लैंडफिल्स एंड व्हेन वाटर सीप्स मतलब परकोलेट्स, नीचे जब पानी जो है वो जमीन के अंदर जाएगा, इट गेट्स कंटेमिनेटेड एंड टर्न्स अ पॉल्यूटेड सराउंडिंग एरिया, राइट. सो टर्न्स इन टर्न पॉल्यूट्स द सराउंडिंग एरिया. सराउंडिंग एरिया में इट कुड बी डिपेंड करता है कि आपका, जैसे हमने कहा कि इवन द अंडरग्राउंड वाटर इज ऑल्सो कनेक्टेड टू योर सरफेस वाटर, सो इट विल डिपेंड अपॉन अगर आपका वो वहां से मिक्स अप, इफ like it could happen like बहुत ज्यादा रेन हुई तो उसका वो फुल हो जाए, then obviously क्या होगा, it will spill over, the spill over होगा तो आसपास के एरिया को जो pollute करेगा. And if it is, अगर बहुत ज्यादा रेन नहीं हुई तो क्या होगा, if it will get mixed up and then it can slowly जो it can go down and therefore जो underground this water अगर reservoir है that may get polluted. So this is what we call as landfills. Now इसके ऊपर एक once when we make some improvement in the landfills, सिंपल टर्म में लैंडफिल्स जो हमने बात की, पर इसमें हम थोड़ी सी इंप्रूवमेंट करें तो जो प्रॉब्लम लीचिंग की है दैट कैन बी अवॉइडेड, एंड दैट इज डन विद द हेल्प ऑफ क्रिएटिंग ए लेयर. सॉइल लेयर हम क्रिएट करेंगे, इम्परमिएबल सॉइल लेयर क्रिएट करेंगे, एंड उस पर्टिकुलर जो स्ट्रक्चर तैयार हो गया उसको हम बोल देंगे सैनिटरी लैंडफिल्स. टर्म कहां से आया, सैनिटरी, साफ सफाई से रिलेटेड, क्लीनलीनेस. लैंडफिल वही जो हमने डिस्कस किया, बट अब जो लैंडफिल है वो कैसी हैं, दे आर सैनिटरी. सैनिटरी मतलब दे आर क्लीनर देन व्हाटएवर वी हैव सीन अर्लियर. सो इन दिस मेथड व्हाट वी विल डू, जब मैंने पिट की, व्हेनेवर आई क्रिएटेड ए पिट, तो मैं क्या करूंगा, आई विल क्रिएट ए लाइनर. यहां पर अगर आप देखोगे ये वाली जो लेयर है, ये दिस लेयर इज इम्परमिएबल लेयर. ये किसी भी, इट कुड बी ऑफ क्ले. इम्परमिएबल का मतलब हुआ कि वाटर कैन नॉट पास थ्रू इट, राइट. सो इट कुड बी ऑफ लाइक योर प्लास्टिक की क्रिएट कर सकते हो आप, आइदर इट कुड बी लाइक क्ले मटेरियल विच डज नॉट अलाउ दैट वाटर टू गो और पास थ्रू इट. सो एक मैंने क्या किया, उस पिट में आई क्रिएटेड ए लेयर, इम्परमिएबल लेयर क्रिएट कर दी, राइट. एंड देन द रेस्ट ऑफ द प्रोसेस दैट आई वाज फॉलोइंग इन केस ऑफ योर simple landfills, that will be done. So the benefit that I'm going to have is only that जो लीचेट की प्रॉब्लम थी which was like going down, और जो अंडरग्राउंड वाटर रिजर्वायर थे उसको क्या कर सकता था, वो पोल्यूट कर सकता था. नाउ इट कैन नॉट लाइक पोल्यूट दैट रिजर्वायर. एंड एडिशनली whatever the leachate that will be generated, मान लिया यहाँ पर leachate जनरेट हो गए, definitely they are going to be created obviously when water will mix up with this. तो हमने किया उसके लिए we can withdraw that leachate, राइट. इसमें से, इस पूरे वेस्ट में से whatever that leachate is creating, that is liquid waste that is creating, हम क्या कर सकते हैं, विड्रॉ करके ट्रीट कर सकते हैं यहाँ पर, और ट्रीट करके जो है इसको डिस्पोज ऑफ कर सकते हैं फिर इन बेटर वे, राइट. एट द सेम टाइम whatever the waste जो हमने यहाँ पर जो डंप किया था उसमें से, because there will be, क्योंकि it is mixed up of like it is a mixture of all those things. आपके पास you are having like this organic matter also and other materials also. Since so ये जो organic matter जो है when it will decompose, then obviously it will generate gases. So whatever the, if we, अगर हम उसके लिए जो कोई जो gases generate किया डंप करने के बाद, अगर if we have not provided a vent to those gases, then it can create a trouble and in sometimes it may like blast, like अगर बहुत ज्यादा pressure create हुआ, बहुत ज्यादा gases generate हुई, in that case if it can surrounding area में क्या होता है, it can fill that area with the gas and may create a blast like situation also in longer run. To avoid that, normally we have given a vent to that particular gas but that is generated after the decomposition of this particular organic waste, right? And this gas may be containing many times, जब आप, because you will not get sufficient air, तो हो सकता है आपका मीथेन वगैरह भी क्रिएट हो सकती है, and इस particular gases जो gases generate होगी, they will carry certain calorific value. So हम क्या कर सकते हैं, इसको, इस गैस को बर्न करके we can utilize even to generate the electricity or maybe utilize for the heating purposes etc. So वो गैस जो आपकी generate हुई, that can be recovered and then can be utilized in a better way. So that is how you can just say that sanitary landfills are basically, they are the improvement over the simple landfills that we were discussing earlier. So what is it? See, sanitary landfill is more hygienic, built in a methodological manner to solve the problem of leaching. Problem of leaching, leachates going inside, like, or if you want to monitor, for example, अगर इस जहां पर मैंने क्रिएट किया है, you are having like underground water exist करता है, you can even monitor कि वो जो आपका lining जो आपने create की थी, that is has been properly made or not. So at the same time आप क्या कर सकते हो, water testing भी कर सकते हैं जो underground water है, whether it has got polluted or not, and this system is like working properly. So leaching नहीं होगी आपकी. These are lined with materials that are impermeable, right? Which does not allow that water leachates to pass through it. It could be like plastic हो सकता है, clay हो सकती है. Constructing landfills is very costly. Obviously, you can just think of, तो पहले मुझे प्लान करना पड़ेगा, lining तैयार करनी पड़ेगी. I have to make the lining and all that. So definitely it is going to cost you. So that is why जो practice थी, अब sanitary simply landfill तैयार करना, गड्ढा create करना, that is relatively cheap. So हमारे लिए it is easy to just create a pit and just dump it over there. But when we move towards like better methods, then obviously it is going to involve the cost also. Modern landfills are constructed with number of safeguards, including clay, plastic lining that we already discussed, to contain. इस केस में to contain leachates. Contain leachates का मतलब है to restrict. Contain इस particular sentence में meaning आएगा इसका to restrict the leachates so that they don't go out. As organic waste decomposes, it generates gases, including methane, right? Which is a greenhouse gas, right? A portion of landfill called as cells are closed. Pipes are often like installed to vent the gases, allow the gases to come out before they can diffuse into the ground, increasing the risk of explosion. कि surrounding area में those gases so that they don't get like spread out और diffuse ना हो जाएं उस ground surface में और बाद में high pressure में वो क्या करें, they may create a blast kind of situation. तो आपने जो है already you have provided a vent and you can just take out this gas and also you can use this gas to generate the electricity अगर आप उसको properly collect कर लेते हो तो, because it carries a certain heating value and heat up करके आप क्या कर सकते हो वहां से by burning that gas you can generate the electricity. So that is the meaning of sanitary landfills. Another method of disposing the solid waste is called as incineration, right? So incineration का मतलब ये हुआ कि for example when you will burn the organic matter, solid organic matter, so उस process को हमने नाम दिया है, we have given it a name called as incineration. So incineration plants का मतलब है कि if you are having a machinery or plant setup है where you are going to burn that particular solid organic waste. So normally what हम क्या करते हैं, like for example I am having a solid waste which we have collected. So normally whatever the items which can be recycled, उनको हम क्या करते हैं, we segregate them and that solid organic waste उसको क्या करेंगे in a furnace, for example यहाँ पर at a certain temperature हम क्या करेंगे, we will put that particular matter in this particular furnace. So furnace में what we'll do, we'll burn that particular matter, and then once the burning will take place, so obviously you can just think of it will release the heat. और जो heat release हुई उसको हम क्या कर सकते हैं, we can tap that heat and we can utilize that steam, that particular heat to generate the steam. तो हम क्या करते हैं, यहाँ पर boiler होगा हमारे पास. You are having a boiler over here, so you are having many like pipes over here this way. These pipes, तो इन pipes में क्या होगा, your water will be circulating, right? So जब water यहाँ आएगा, it will get this heat. This water in these pipes will get converted into the steam. और जब ये यहाँ जाएगा तो steam यहाँ जाएगी, तो ये क्या करेगी, it will run that particular shaft, or you can say जो टर्बाइन है उसको रन करेगी, स्टीम टर्बाइन को रन करेगी, and that way it is connected to your generator and then it will generate the electricity. So whatever the heat जो आपकी जनरेट हुई यहाँ पर, उसको आपने टैप किया जो solid organic waste को बर्न करने के बाद, and then therefore you utilize it in a proper way, right? Benefit क्या हुआ आपको? What is the benefit of doing this way? तो see, otherwise that solid organic waste had to occupy a lot of space. बहुत ज्यादा space उसने occupy करना था. तो इस केस में आपने किया, once you are doing this way, तो you can just think of जो solid organic matter after getting burned, वो क्या हो जाएगा? That will get converted into ash. तो जो ash बचेगी, that will be relatively very small, right? 80-90% of that organic waste का जो volume था, that will get reduced, and finally it will be in the form of a small amount of ash, right? So that is the benefit of like having the incineration process. But if you see the disadvantage of this process, then obviously as you are having so many materials in that particular waste, right? So after burning of that waste, lot of gases will be released, and many of those gases may be harmful, not only to the environment but also to the human beings, right? So that is why whatever the gases, for example यहाँ पर mention किया गया, boiler से obviously जो गैसेज यहां से जाएंगी, तो ऑब्वियसली यहां पर जो स्टीम है, सॉरी दिस बॉयलर में आफ्टर गिविंग अप इट्स हीट, दीज गैसेज विल गो अवे. तो जो गैसेज है इनको हमने बोला एग्जॉस्ट गैसेज, एंड फाइनली वी कैन डिस्चार्ज देम इनटू द दिस. सो ऑब्वियसली समटाइम्स वी कैन मेक यूज ऑफ द लाइक एग्जॉस्ट गैस क्लीनिंग, बट इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर अस टू clean all those gases. You see, we can clean, but the cost of cleaning will go up. So we have to see the case by case whether it is possible for us or not. But in most of the cases we are having the setup, so a lot of those gases, harmful gases, will be released, and therefore they will be act as a pollutant, and many of them could be like harmful, right, to the human beings. So that is the, you can just say, negative side of this particular incineration process, right? So let's see now. It is a process of burning solid organic waste. तो आपने total waste जो है उसको segregate किया, और जो solid organic waste है उसको क्या करेंगे, in large furnace we are going at a high temperature, उसको क्या करेंगे, large furnace में we will burn it up, and so as to convert the residue them into residue and gaseous product. Residue का मतलब हुआ कि आपका जो ashes वगैरह है, they are the residue, and the gaseous product जो burn करने के बाद जो आपका exhaust gases बनी. In these plants the recyclable material is segregated. Recyclable का मतलब जो मेरे पास वेस्ट आया, उस वेस्ट में से जो रिसाइक्लेबल मटेरियल जिसको रिसाइकल कर सकता हूं, दोबारा यूज कर सकता हूं, आई एम जस्ट टेकिंग इट आउट एंड द रिमेनिंग मटेरियल आई एम जस्ट बर्निंग इट, राइट? दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ इट. देन दिस मेथड इज यूजफुल फॉर डिस्पोजल ऑफ बोथ. आप किसको कर सकते हो, म्युनिसिपल सॉलिड वेस्ट एंड सॉलिड रेजिड्यू फ्रॉम वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट. अब अगर आप देखोगे जो वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्रोसेस है, जहां से वाटर को ट्रीट करने के बाद जो रेजिड्यू बचा, लेफ्ट ओवर बचा, उसको भी एज वेल एज द म्युनिसिपल सॉलिड वेस्ट जो आया, उसको भी क्या कर सकते हो आप, इस मेथड से इंसिनरेशन कर सकते हो, एंड देन यू कैन जस्ट reduce its volume. This process reduces the volume of the solid waste by roughly about 80 to 90%. So just you can just imagine the amount of like space saving that you are going to have when you will carry out this process. But negative side we have already seen, जैसे बात की मैंने, incineration and other high temperature waste treatment systems are sometimes called as thermal treatment. See, इस प्रोसेस को हमने थर्मल ट्रीटमेंट नाम दे दिया. एक और प्रोसेस में फर्दर डिस्कस करूंगा आपसे, पायरोलिसिस, दैट विल बी आल्सो कॉल्ड एज ए थर्मल ट्रीटमेंट. तो थर्मल मतलब वी विल मेकिंग यूज ऑफ like heat, but we are basically burning them, right? That is why it is a thermal treatment. Incinerators convert waste materials into heat, obviously, gas, steam, ashes, etc. उसमें कन्वर्ट करेंगे. एंड अब ये जो मेथड है ये ज्यादातर आपके लिए वहां पर सुटेबल है वेयर particularly for example जो hospital waste हमने कहा which is a infectious waste, वहां we can just say it is the most appropriate method. and there we can utilize it, because उस केस में आपको पता है कि infectious waste है, if you can just burn it, and obviously जो infection spread out होने की possibility है that will decrease, right? So in that particular case we can say this is the best approach that we can have in the form of incineration. But for the remaining type of waste, it is generating the other kinds of pollutants, so that is why it should be the last resort. You cannot just go for this particular process very frequently. That is meaning of it. So it is recognized as the practical method of disposing of certain hazardous waste material such as biological medical waste, which is particularly the infectious waste. Incineration is controversial method of waste disposal. Controversial क्यों है? Controversy बनी हुई है क्यों? Because of the आपने जो है एक one form of like waste जिसमें से कुछ एक आपका जो harmful चीजें generate होनी थी, you just converted them into a different form. That is the only thing. Due to the issue such as emission of many harmful gaseous pollutants, burning के बाद बहुत सारी gases होंगी which will be very harmful, that will be generated. In fact, at present, incineration is kept as the last resort, right? Like, अगर हमारे पास और कोई मेथड बचा ही नहीं, let's say, और बहुत ज्यादा न्यूसेंस क्रिएट हो रही है, then we can go for this particular method. Otherwise, mainly we are using it for the infectious waste, that is the hospital waste. So simply, incineration process क्या है? Burning of that waste, solid waste, उसको segregate कर दिया, and just taking out that solid organic waste. What we will do? फर्नेस में डाल के उसको बर्न करेंगे, और इफ पॉसिबल वी कैन जस्ट एक्सट्रैक्ट दैट हीट एंड देयरफॉर वी कैन आल्सो जनरेट द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. बट नेगेटिव इंपैक्ट बीइंग कि आपका जो व्हाटएवर दैट गैसेस दे आर गेटिंग रिलीज्ड, बिकॉज़ यू कुड हैव सो मेनी सॉलिड मटेरियल व्हिच आफ्टर बर्निंग मे रिलीज like बहुत सारी harmful gases they can release, and therefore could be injurious to health and environment as well as. Environment मतलब जैसे कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, मान लिया if carbon dioxide is getting released, then obviously you can just think of it as a greenhouse gas, right? A similar process which we call as a thermal treatment, again जैसे मैंने एग्जांपल कहा था वहां पर भी, is called as pyrolysis. We are going to do the same thing as we did in case of incineration, but the difference being in case of pyrolysis जो heating होगी उसकी आपकी या combustion होगी, whatever the जो waste आया आपका बायोमास आया, organic matter आया, organic matter मतलब बायोमास, biological mass, so that will be in the absence of oxygen or air, right? So when you will carry out that burning of that particular biomass or biological, या आप simply बोल सकते हो organic solid waste in the absence of air or in a controlled burning, like controlled atmospheric conditions में, मतलब controlled oxygen के level में अगर आप burning करोगे, तो उस process को मैंने नाम दे दिया pyrolysis.